it is time for us to take a little bit of a closer look. And this is an interesting story that continues to be seen. We've seen multiple angles on this before. Microsoft recently laid off about 9,000 employees. That's about 4% of its total workforce. These layoffs within the tech industry or risk reduction in force are fairly common. They're typically a seasonal thing that we see a chunk of the workforce laid off from an organization. Then, over a period of time, a new workforce gets hired in because the company shifts where its focus is. And so they need to lay off the people who can't be relocated into what they're doing now. The difference here is that Microsoft is shifting to AI to replace these humans. And whilst the company leaders say that AI will eliminate many routine jobs, but it'll also create new opportunities in advanced areas. Thousands of tech workers were displaced, but demand for AI experts has soared, with companies offering high salaries to attract top talent. How do you think these shifts will impact the future of Microsoft, Gina?
Well, I think it's already had a bit of an impact because the shutdowns are global. They're not just, in the United States, and the shutdowns are pretty complete. There's complete lines of business that are being swished right away. And so that has an impact not only on the individuals being riffed, but it also has an impact on the local economy. It has an impact on the greater economy because we see a huge trend right now in outsourcing jobs and saying that they're being removed for AI reasons, which it turns out that that's not always the case. So, of course, I have a product marketing agency. I've seen this happen to my own agency. Um, and I have a friend who does special effects, his own special effects company. He's seen it happen in their organization too. And the problems I see with generative AI replacing humans is especially in the fields where you're using words to define things and you're doing things with words and you need creativity. AI can't replace it. I'm starting to see that in my own business, starting to see business coming back a little bit, starting to see a lot of cleanup work, which I predicted that would happen if they did this. There would be cleanup work. I think it's bad for the entire stream of work, right? So if this happens, this is knocking out a lot of senior workers. That means the new people have to go in and try to use AI without having any context of how the business works. They don't have anybody to mentor them. It just leaves a lot of gaps, and I think uh, I'm not sure if it's short-sighted because I think this is the intention that Microsoft had and where they wanted it to go. It'll just remain to see if they are being a little too lackadaisical in their approach with this to replace knowledge workers with AI. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I think there's a couple of parts to this. One is that these riffs are routine. Uh,
Mm,
Hanging a banner of everything's happening with AI comes up. I When I say routine, they happen pretty much every year. I mean, they're horrible for the people affected, but they happen every year. They happen across almost every organization that we deal with that's a reasonable size in the industry. Hanging the AI banner across it, there's a couple of pieces to that. One is everything's AI now, so these risks have to be AI. But also, Microsoft is saying you can get huge amounts of benefit from using AI and Copilot in your own business. So they have to walk that walk. They have to show that they're getting huge amounts of benefit. I think I agree with you that they probably are over rotating on this, and they may find themselves in the same situation. I think it was IBM found themselves. They laid off a whole bunch of sales staff because they were going to replace them with AI, and then had to turn around and re-recruit those sales staff because the AI just was not doing the job that was required. We may see if the truth in this is that the staff members are being replaced with AI, we may well see that same wind back happen here, and it'll probably be nice and quietly. It'll just be quietly rehiring staff, hiring staff to do the jobs. You don't want to admit that you made that kind of mistake.
oh, sure. I've said for a long time, for like probably 20 years now, that in knowledge workers working positions, the means of production is no longer in the hands of the companies or the owners or the managers. It's inside of our heads, of knowledge workers' heads. So what to me has been happening is you've now got A lot of companies, Intel is another one that is now doing layoffs today and replacing all of their marketing team, sending it to Accenture that's going to use AI to do the marketing. So when you do that, you're taking that means of protection back in-house, but you're trusting a large language model. That's where the means of production is now. So we know what the troubles and how that does not work, and, we've talked about that forever. We talked about it today. Um, so it's I think it's an attempt at if to use pure, capitalism type of language. It's a means to reclaim the means of production. It's no longer in the heads of the workers, it's in the code of the language models. Um, and I don't think, good luck to them. But, I don't think that that's the way to go. Now, having said that, I use AI every day in my work experience. I like using AI. I like using the large language models, but, I also have a context for how it should be used because I have a context of the whole field of marketing and how what we exist in, what our goals are to try to do things with, and that guides my prompts and how I'm doing things and how I use that for my clients.